Patrick, we've got, like I said, we've got a lot of different solutions here, a lot of different services. I've got some more that are coming out here very soon. But today we're going to just talk about how each of these can actually bring in a certain amount of money, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish all that within the next 50 minutes here.
Yeah, we have to squeeze it in sometimes. There's so much content in these webinars. Folks, we try to educate you. That's what we teach you to do, to go out and market to doctors. People wonder how our licensees sign up doctors. Well, one of the secrets is what you're learning right here today. Give them some good content, educate them as much as you can, and people will see the need for what you have. So hopefully we hope you see that you'd like to get into this business.
You bet. One more thing before we get launched here, since you now know where the question box is, feel free to ask us a question. Take advantage of this time. This is your time. Feel free to ask us any questions that you type those in there this afternoon. We're going to do our best to answer every single question. So, Patrick, the first thing is, let's talk about, is there a market for this business? So let's talk about the medical billing business. Some of you may have recognized some of this. We like to talk about this because obviously when you get into any business, whether it's a business opportunity or a franchise, Patrick, you got to know whether this market is even wide enough for you to get into.
Yeah, I mean, it's been around, of course, for years. My wife started doing medical billing out of our home here in Keller, Texas, back in 1987. So it's been around a while, but you know, that's because it's going to be here for many, many years to come, because doctors will always need to get paid. They are going to be collecting money from either insurance companies or government agencies. And even their patients, they don't collect but about half of what they bill the patients. So we can help with all that.
You bet. And so, folks, if you can see here that the industry is 614 billion annually. It's growing even from that number. We can tell that because even with Entrepreneur Magazine they've got their own book of how to start your own business. So, folks, here is the granddaddy of it all, Entrepreneur Magazine, on how to start your own business. They're even saying this is growing by 5.8% even through 2024. I think Patrick's kind of looking for that book there. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to find it, but
put my hands on that. But yeah, that's a great quote there too, Eric. Look at that. By then, it says healthcare spending will total $5.43 trillion and account for 19.6%. Now, I'm not a real good mathematician, Eric, but that's about 20% of the gross domestic product. Think about that. What industry is there that has 1/5 of the gross domestic product? So it says, let there be no doubt, healthcare is big business and its growth shows no signs of slowing. This makes it the perfect time to start your own medical claims billing service. Now, Eric, this book is available on Amazon, and anybody can go out there and search for it and find it. Entrepreneur Magazine's been around for 100 years, and so they're pretty trustworthy when they say that this is a business that you should consider getting into. You can trust me that they know what you're talking about.
And like Patrick said, you could go get this on Amazon, and you know, for a small investment, this is a good resource for you. You'll find though in the back of the book that it even has us listed, American Business Systems listed in the back of the book for those that want more information and maybe how to start their own medical billing business. That's what's pretty cool about the whole thing.
And Eric, you remember, we were surprised when I bought this book. I just thought it'd be interesting to see what they say. We found our name and contact information on the back of the book as one of the recommended resources for people, and we didn't even know it was there. So we didn't pay for this. This is not a paid announcement.
Right. Yeah. It just comes right in there. And again, as you keep doing your due diligence, a great resource that we use quite often is this group called Black Book Research. And Doug Brown, who is the managing partner of Black Book, now they do all different types of research in all different industries. And obviously one of them that they do is in healthcare. And folks, you can clearly see of what he's saying here that the advancement of billing, business outsourcing is growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, Patrick, he says the rise in healthcare expenditures is creating the urgent demand for cost-effective, technically advanced business office outsourcing solutions in physician practices across the country. We're going to share with you just quickly a couple of their polls that they've been able to do, kind of give you a little bit of a feel what you can find with them. Patrick, I'm going to go on to the next one. You can kind of take it from here.
By the way, let me kind of define that outsourcing solutions. What he's talking about, folks, is you, an outside medical billing company doing the billing, because doctors, some of them do it in-house. Well, when they outsource it, they're just basically finding a medical billing company in their area sometimes that will do that billing for them. There's a number of doctors who've already decided to do that, obviously. But Eric, a lot of our signups from our licensees are from doctors who've already decided to outsource it, and they're just not happy with the technology, the service, and other things. So there's always a market for medical billing if you know what you're doing and if you have the advantages that we have.
Right. Mark's asking a question, Patrick. What percentage of new people are still doing this business 3 years later?
Of new people, what percentage of new people? Well, I think 100% of them. We, again, Mark, are not a franchise, so we don't have statistics that we can share with you, because the people who start their businesses with us, they're the owners of their business. They have no responsibility whatsoever to share anything with us as a company. Now, we know from our support department that we're continually getting information and questions from people who've gotten into our business. So a large portion of them, I'd say that the only people who are not out there doing anything at some point are those who have already gotten the number of clients that they need to make the kind of income that they need. And then, let's face it, you only can spend so much money, right, Eric? They don't need any more clients at some point, or maybe they don't want to hire people. They want to keep it small and do it themselves.
But I think he's asking how many people are still doing it 3 years later. Mark, if you'll get with the person that invited you to the webinar, you'll see that we've got a list of references, and you'll see that these folks go all the way back 12, 15 years. So if you're looking for longevity, you're going to find a lot of people that have come into the business, gotten in here, still doing it after at least a year, 3 years. Cynthia's been with us for, like Patrick said, 8 years. There are some people who've been with us longer than that. So just get with the person that invited you to the webinar today and ask for the reference list. That we even have how long that they've been with us, so you can call and check with them as well. So feel free to give.
But really, Mark, it's just like everything else in life. You've probably heard of the old Pareto principle, which he was a mathematician back in the 13th century. He somehow decided that 20% of any group of people do 80% of the work. And that means the other 80% only do 20% of the work, right? So you'll find that true with our licensees. 20% of them that come through our training are probably doing 80% of the volume, because that's just the way human beings are. There's nothing we can do to change that. 20% of your church or synagogue members probably do 80% of the work, and then the other 80% don't do anything.
You're right. You bet. All right. Raymond says he lost audio feed. Is anybody else losing audio feed here?
Yeah, give us some feedback there.
Just want to make sure everybody can hear us, and we just want to make sure. I'm hearing Patrick, so I just want to make sure that we're all being heard here. So if people let us know, that would be great. No response yet. Oh, Raymond said it's back. Okay, very good. All right, so folks, as you can see this with this Black Book research, 42% outsourcing medical billing is expected to report an overall, again, 42% growth over the last period, which was quarter of last year, all the way through the first quarter of 2019. So, folks, if you can imagine, we're in this window between the last quarter of 2016, the first quarter of 2019, a 42% growth rate, folks, in doctors outsourcing their medical billing. So
unheard of, Eric. There's no other industry that I know of that is projecting a 42% increase in that period of time.
Right.
But that's because, as far as I know, as long as human beings get sick, as long as doctors are helping those people, doctors need to get paid, and so they'll need some help getting that money from the insurance companies or the government agencies.
You bet. And this ought to help kind of push down the fear a little bit of whether doctors are being bought up by medical hospitals or whatever else. Again, there is a big group of doctors out there that are still independent. They are looking to outsource their medical billing. They've tried it. They may have brought it in-house, but we're going to be here to help them take it back outsourcing again. here is another, just a statistic that you can kind of keep an eye on. We put the URL up there. You can see it. This is where the handout comes into play, so you can always go back and look at this. But look here, again, 80.5%, let's see, 80.557, I'll get it, 80.56 billion in revenue growth here in revenue cycle management.
Yeah, it boils down to this. There's lots of money here. It's a big pie, and all you need is just a little tiny slice of this pie, folks, to make a fairly good income working from your home in your underwear. I mean, pajamas.
Whatever you want to do.
That's right.
All right. All right. So here you go, folks. Let's get started, and let's talk about some of this information that we've got today. Obviously, again, please ask us some questions as we go through the webinar today. And again, let's just get started off. Folks, we're always concerned, just like yourself, how quickly can you break even on your investment, any investment? Patrick, I mean, obviously, everybody wants to know that. I think what we always hear in business, there's a couple of things you need to know before you get into business. When's your break even, and where's your exit plan? I mean, everybody hears that. Well, let's talk about the return on investment.
Yeah, the return on investment is very important. In most businesses, folks, most franchises, Subway sandwich shops, for example, they project a 2.5 to 3 year break even. That's because you've got so many expenses. With this one, our little, licensing fee of $26,000 is not a whole lot of money to invest in something like this. It's easy to get that back. As you'll see, we're going to prove that to you today with real statistics we've gotten from real licensees. So an investment of $25,990, what you need to do is replace that $25,990. How quickly can you do that? That's what it boils down to. If it's 3 years, 5 years, something like that, it's a long time to wait for your investment and then you start making a profit. But we're going to show you that you can make that fairly quickly.
Yeah, absolutely, and with just one doctor. So we're really going to start off here with just kind of looking at what's called our income potential. Now, folks, you may have been able to see this on, go into our website. Underneath there you see income potential. We're going to talk about that right now, and we're going to work the numbers here. Some of you may have kind of gotten some of these numbers, but we're going to take it slowly this afternoon so that you really do get this. So we're going to go to our income potential and go to medical billing income calculator.
Now this is on our website, absystems.com. Yeah.
Yes. And we're actually going to go live to this one in just a little bit so that you can see that you can go to this and you can play with the numbers yourself and really kind of drill down of what you may be wanting to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to take an example of one doctor that will see 25 patients a day. Now, Patrick, I know that we've all been to the doctor, and we think that there's 25 patients every time we show up for the doctor. It seems like we're waiting there for hours.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're blowing up the numbers of a doctor seeing 25 patients a day.
No, that's very reasonable. Now, for some specialties, there might be even more patients. It just depends on the type of doctor, and we're going to show you a list of the types of doctors that you can approach for this business here in just a moment.
Yeah, and then we also know that most doctors are open 5 days a week. Some may close a little bit early on Fridays, but typically, again, 5 days a week. Now, Patrick, a lot of people ask about this percentage. I think everything that we've heard from our licensees, the average amount to charge a doctor to do their billing is 6%. I mean, that's pretty much across the board.
Yeah, nationwide, it'll vary. Sometimes it's as low as 5%. I've heard of people charging 7 and 8%, but we use 6% because that's kind of right there in the middle, actually the lower end. But the point is that you can plug in any number you want to here in our calculator, and it'll still give you some numbers to look at.
And then we want to take a look about the average claim amount. Now, for some that may know a little bit more about billing, you know that there's going to be a charge amount and then a reimbursed amount. So what we're doing here is typically what we would normally go if we were paying cash. If we were paying cash to a doctor, we know that it's going to be at least $100. That's pretty much what the insurance companies are going to reimburse the doctors on anyway. So that's all these numbers are kind of average type numbers. That's what we have to look at there. So kind of a disclaimer here. this is just for your research. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to get these kind of amounts back. But what we've been able to do, Patrick, is, and you know, is that we tried to keep the numbers as low as possible. That's why we're just going with one doctor right now.
Yeah,
so,
that's all we can do, folks. And I think, Eric, even on this page, there is a disclaimer there, something similar to that we can't guarantee anything. But we did obtain a lot of these figures, these average figures here that you see plugged in, from our licensees. We know nationwide that most of them are seeing doctors that have these types of numbers. So that's why we use those. But again, folks, you're welcome to put in any numbers that you think are reasonable there. It's kind of like, it's kind of like those weight loss ads, Eric. In the fine print at the bottom of those on the TV, it just says basically you can eat the way we tell you to and maybe lose some weight, and if you don't, you'll stay fat. So we can't guarantee that you're going to lose weight.
Yeah. But what we can guarantee is that we're going to work with you and make sure that you get to where you want to. So by clicking submit there, it does the calculations, and here you go. You've got a yearly income of $39,000 and an average monthly income of $3,250 a month. Now, for some, Patrick, that could be maybe even switching out their current jobs.
Oh yeah. But I tell people, look, just if that number doesn't excite you, just how many doctors would you be willing to do the billing for? Now, Eric, I think that's an important point too. I don't know if you're covering that in the slides, but how much time would it take them to process this 100 claims a week?
Yep, that's what we're going to look at too. So, folks, again, just as a reminder, if you got any questions about what I'm about to go through here, remember, we're just going to deal with one doctor, just a regular family practitioner. It's the best way to start you understanding about really how much you can make at doing medical billing. And I think you're going to be surprised about the time that it's going to take you. This could just be a part-time job for you. So let's really really break down these numbers here. We'll kind of go through this at somewhat of a pace. So again, if you've got some questions, feel free to ask. And Patrick, obviously you can always jump in here. So you got a doctor going to see 25 patients, and again, we talked about $100 reimbursement to the doctor. And so if you just start doing some simple calculations, that's about $2,500 per day for the doctor. Now, Patrick, a lot of people might say, man, I wish I could make $2,500 per day, but that's not going on with the doctor.
Yeah. They would not want to see what the expenses are, though, to run a medical practice.
Right. So it would be nice, because you're going to see here really what that comes out to in a monthly time here. So, but how this doctor gets paid? And again, most of the doctors are with Medicare, Medicaid, all the health insurance companies. The doctor not necessarily gets checks anymore. They get all of this electronically now to the doctor. So this kind of answers the question, do I, as a billing company, Patrick, do I handle the money?
Yeah, and the answer is no. We don't change anything about the way the money flows through the doctor's office. The doctor still gets checks directly to him or her from the insurance companies and from Medicare and Medicaid. So you're not involved in that at all. You wouldn't want to be involved in that, because it could cause all kinds of problems. And we've run across doctors who let their outsourced billing company handle the money, and that is a serious problem in some practices. There's been some fraud there for sure.
Yeah, and in today's technology, most of this is coming electronically anyway. So it's just digits in somebody's computer. It's getting the doctor paid from the insurance company into their bank account. So that even makes it even easier. So
go ahead. And let me just touch on for people who are thinking that through. The checks come to the doctor. So how do you get paid? Well, it's pretty simple. You have access to the system that shows exactly how much money was paid to the doctor, because that's all input into our system, and that's what you bill on. So if the total for the month is $100,000 that the doctor's collected, you're going to plug in 6% and get $6,000 for that.
You bet. All right, so now you've got a doctor receiving $2,500 a day. Again, average 20 billing days a month. That doctor is expected, and again, we have expected revenue of about $50,000 per month. And again, that would be nice for all of us to be making, but we're not a doctor. We didn't go to school, but we're also not paying for malpractice, insurance, staff, everything, the building, everything else that this doctor's in.
And having to see people naked.
Yeah.
That's
my.
I don't want to be a doctor. Thank you.
And then you've got the doctor also having to pay either someone in their office to do the billing, or they've got this doctor outsource this money, or they're outsourcing the billing out to somebody. So now let's take a look at this. If they've got it outsourced to someone like an ABS licensee, this is how you're going to get paid, and this is the amount of money that you're going to get paid. And so this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring this calculation down. So you can kind of, what we've done, we've drilled it down on basically how much money you can make per day as well as the doctor's doing. So if their doctor is getting $2,500 a day, and that's 6% of that, your average earnings is $150 per day. Now that's pretty good, again, for maybe part-time work, and we've even have down here, it could be even less than 90 minutes of doing that billing. Now, Patrick, it would be interesting. I don't think we've got this broken down here, but I think that's a little bit over $80 an hour if we were looking at it.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is that the reason there's so much money in this, folks, is because the doctors are willing to pay the 6% because you're going to show them with your tools that we give you that they are paying a whole lot more than $150 a day.
Right.
To their own staff, upkeep of the software and the computer, IT support for their computers, all kinds of expenses that are hidden there.
Right, you bet. And then you've got, again, remember, we're dealing with a general practice family doctor. Your average earnings is $150 a day times 5 days per week. Again, that's where we're going to get this calculation here. So if you've got $750 per week, you're working 52 weeks out of the year, there's your $39,000 per doctor per year. And Patrick, we said in the beginning, our investment's $25,990, just at $26,000. And here, with one doctor, not only are you getting your return on your investment, but you're already in the black even with your first doctor for the first year.
Yeah, it's just amazing when people first see this. They think, well, why isn't everybody in this business then if it's so profitable? It's because it's what I call, Eric, a hidden business. When my wife was doing the billing, we don't do that now, of course. We've moved to a support company. But at the time she was doing the billing for doctors and we were making all this money, we were buying new cars and a home and all kinds of stuff that our friends and relatives looked at us and thought, wonder what these guys are doing, because they never leave the house.
Right.
And yeah, it's crazy how much money can be made. Very profitable.
It is very profitable. And then at this point, you usually start making your decision. Do I want one doctor, two doctors? Maybe two doctors is all you want. If you think about it, it's about a half a day of work, and you're making, right at almost $80,000 a year. Patrick, that's, again, what the average, I don't even know what the average income here in America, but it's not $80,000 a year.
I think it's about $50,000 per family or something like that. Yeah, so it's above average for sure. We have licensees, by the way, who have 30 and 40 and 50 doctors that they're doing the billing for. If you're wondering what kind of potential there is, I call it unlimited, because as long as you're willing to manage people to do the billing, you can just add as many doctors as you want. And believe me, it's easy to find people. We show you how to outsource some of that actual data entry, to your family, friends, and other people that are out there. Yeah.
You bet. And again, just to show you that we're not trying to play smoke and mirrors here, we've gone back to our just a screenshot of this. And again, one doctor, 25 patients a day, 5 days a week, 6% of $100. Again, that's bringing you back to $39,000 a year, $3,200 basically a month in income. So folks, again, as you're kind of starting to think, gosh, how can I do this? Hopefully this encourages you how much more effort you might want to get in of how do I get that first doctor. And with that said, Patrick, you and I did, I think, one of our best webinars last Wednesday, and because we got a report from someone that was on here, one gentleman says, Eric and Patrick, you guys demystified on how we are to get doctors. I mean, if you haven't watched that one, go back and watch that one from last week.
Yeah, that's all right here on this website, absystems.com. Just go under the news tab up at the top there and you'll see blog. That's where we post all the recordings of these. This one this week will be posted there tomorrow. So you can go back and see all of our webinars there. Yeah.
Right. So again, now we just dealt with one doctor. Now, let's be creative here. Let's say that you go out there and you really start to focus in on at least one specialist. Now, before we show the kind of money, let's talk about the specialties that are actually out there. Patrick, I mean, this could be anything from allergy doctors to rheumatologists to gastro doctors, cardiovascular people. The name goes on.
Yeah, there's some here that I don't even know what they are. And look, here's another page of them. Yeah, it's amazing when you start looking. I started to say through the yellow pages. That dates me, doesn't it? But if you Google physician specialties, and you'll see that that's where we came up with this list. Folks, every one of these are potential clients for you. The market is huge out there in any given area. There's just dozens and dozens of doctors that are just waiting for you to tell them the advantages that you have over them doing it themselves or any other billing company that's in the area.
Right, right. And so think about this. If a general practitioner is getting reimbursed about $100, what if you were dealing with a cardiologist or a pain management doctor, a podiatrist, which is a foot doctor, any of these type of dermatologists, any of these, actually it's going to get more reimbursements because, again, they're a specialty. So let's look at the same numbers, but the only thing we're going to change this time is the reimbursement rate. So we're going to see a doctor who's a specialist who, again, is seeing 25 patients at the time. However, you can see, again, at a minimum average, a specialist, which is, we know this from one of our licensees, was billing for a urologist. And that's, you know, if you go see a doctor for kidney stones or whatever else like that, the average reimbursement for that doctor is $175. So, Patrick, if you think about it, all we've done is raise it from $100, and we've raised it up just $75 for a specialty, $175. Look at the difference between what the doctor was with a regular general practitioner. Remember, it was $2,500 per day. At $175, now we're at $43.75 per day.
That can be a huge difference. Hey, I can testify. I've been to a urologist, and I can tell you, I've been sitting in that room with 25 other people, and by the time I actually got to see the urologist, my bill was over $800 for that visit. Yeah. So I know that specialists get a lot more money than a general practitioner, for sure.
So this is where it gets really, really exciting for everybody. So now we're taking this number, we just bumped it up $75. Again, they're going to get paid electronically on a daily basis. Look at the income difference. We went from $50,000 per month in expected revenues for a doctor to $87,500 per month. Guess what? 6% of that money is yours.
Right.
Are we ready to see that this kind of the difference here? Okay, here we go. So
drum roll.
Again, yeah. So now you're an ABS licensee. You're dealing with a specialty. They're getting in $43.75 per day. 6% of that, your average earnings per day has gone from $150 to $262.50 per day for less than 90 minutes of work. Same numbers.
Same amount of time. It's the same number of claims, 20 a day. Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. Now you've got $262.50 per day, $68,250 per year. This is how, with one doctor, you can double, almost quadruple, triple your return on investment with one doctor.
Yes. Eric, as you know, I do interviews with our licensees from time to time, various ones, and I can tell you that I've done several licensee interviews that are posted on our blog, again, that they've told me right there on the live webinar interview that they received their return on their investment in our business within 6 to 9 months. That's unheard of in any business. If you are in the black, from the red ink to the black ink within 2 years, you're doing great.
Yes, no doubt about it.
All right, we blow out the competition. Eric, that's one question we do get a lot from people. Well, look, I know there's other medical billing companies out there and other technology that's out there. Why is it that we blow out the competition?
Well, it's because of the way that our platform is situated and how it works. It's got all of this, and again, folks, you're going to see this in your in your the handouts that we did hand out to you. Hopefully, you're able to get those. But you can see that iClaim and EMRX has all these different capabilities. Number one, and a lot of people like to hear about this. It's got a U.S.-based customer service, but more importantly, folks, it is the only medical billing platform out there that we can get the claims directly from the iClaim platform directly to the insurance companies.
That makes a tremendous difference. And if you look at all these points in this slide that he's got up right now, folks, basically what we're trying to show you is that not only are we the latest technology, but we have thought of everything that's necessary for running a doctor's practice. That's why the iClaim is referred to as a practice management system, and the electronic medical records, of course, is, well, it's what the government is mandating that the doctors use, something electronic, so not on paper. So they're trying to get away from paper completely. Look, we've won all kinds of awards that Eric's showing here on our technology. That's because it is the leading edge. Now, let me encourage you folks, if you haven't seen a demo, an actual live demo of our system, we're willing to show that to you. Again, just get back with the person who sent you the email to this webinar, and they'll set up with you, set aside a 30, 45 minute to go over with you step by step and let you ask all the questions you want.
All right, so now what we're showing you is some of the other services, and I know that we're kind of running up on our time here, and I think we're still going to be able to get it all in. Is obviously we have iClaim and EMRX, and we have all these different ones that we're looking at here. But let's just get right into these. I mean, a lot of people are kind of afraid about getting this business because they may not know how to deal with the codes. But obviously, with two of our services, we take care of the codes for not only for the doctor but for our licensees.
Yeah, Medicare can come in and do a surprise audit in a doctor's office. And if they find that the doctor has been over-coding, for example, picking a code that would pay more money than another code, and that code is not really matching with the diagnosis code, then they can be fined $10,000 for every infraction. That could hurt.
And then yeah, go ahead.
No, well, this service here, Audit Guard, is something that you can offer to the doctor that guards them against that, basically by doing an analysis of what his codes are right now. And with certified medical coders, we tell the doctor what they can and can't code and what they should change about that. I see the spinning ball of death again.
That's not good.
No, that's not good.
But what we're going to talk with you about, again, as we're hopefully we'll get.
Let me just, I'm going to open the slides and I'll just switch over to me. How's that?
Yeah, why don't you do that? You open up the slides and just show your screen there. We do have this on both of our computers, and we usually have it running off of one of our computers here.
Right.
But we have the Audit Guard. You're going to see here that we have CodeWrite. Now, CodeWrite is just another service that we have that allows you to get any of the coding done with the doctors. I was explaining this to someone the other day, Patrick, that most times, most of the doctors, they're already doing their own coding. The only time that you may ever find a doctor not wanting to do their own coding is mainly going to be for surgeons, because again, surgeons are in their surgeries, they're dictating what they're doing. Obviously, they can't write anything down while they're doing surgery. They're dictating everything of what they're capable of doing. So Audit Guard and CodeWrite will actually be able to show that for the doctors. All right, hopefully, Patrick, did you take over there?
I think so. There's CodeWrite. You just talked about CodeWrite, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's AutoCard. Now, folks, this one I wished I had invented this myself, Eric. It's a cloud-based system that's an automated follow-up system that's accessed, via the cloud, just like our system is. And we have thousands of professionally designed full-color greeting and postcards specifically designed for our ABS licensees. It's totally automated follow-up, folks. You can put somebody's name and address in there, and boom, it sends out the first card. You can tell it 30 days later, send out the second card, and so forth. And Eric, we've proven that this works. Our licensees have proven it, haven't we? Because it gets the response. That's where a lot of people fail in business, is not knowing how to follow up correctly. So we've come up with that specifically for that. Eric, why don't you tell them about Quick Collect? quickly.
Yeah, Quick Collect is just another service that we have here. That kind of goes along with the other services that we have. Because, folks, you've got to remember, not only are you collecting money for the doctor from the insurance companies, but you're going to get paid on getting the collections made with the patients. The doctor never wants to really send a patient to collections, obviously.
Right.
They would just not be good. So we have Quick Collect that will help with that. So any money that may be owed by the patients, and if anybody's on the call today and you know how much it costs to actually be able to for your deductibles alone can be high. So those patients have to meet those deductibles, and then so Quick Collect can help with that. Choice Pay is the next one there that you'll see there, and those are the ones that are actually going to help the doctors get the money into the office, and plus, since you're doing that, again, you're getting 6% of that as well.
Yeah, you get 6% of everything here in all these services, folks. Basically, iDocs now, I love this because doctors are trying to get away from paper, and even though our system, our electronic medical record system, lets them upload documents into it, what about all the patients they've seen in the past? Well, we can take all of their records and upload those to the cloud system called iDocs Now, and let the doctor and his staff access any document from anywhere in the world as long as they have an internet connection. I mean, literally on their computer, iPad, tablets, phones. Yeah, it's just amazing. Okay, Eric, I'm kind of rushing through this because I wanted to get to this one. This one, as you know, absolutely. Yeah, this is a book that I wrote with Dr. Vicki Ratner. We just came out with this the latter part of last year, and folks, this is a tremendous book that doctors love. We use this as a gift, basically, to the doctors. So this is a marketing tool for you. But look at the unique part. You can have your name actually put there at the bottom of the book. Yeah, as having written the foreword. Now, we've already written the foreword that we just put your contact information at the end of that foreword. But it brands you, you see, as the expert in the area, because obviously you've got a partnership here with a doctor, and the doctors love that.
You bet. And the foreword to the book has already been written. We have it already written. I mean, I'm sure if you want to write something else in there, and it meets all the criteria, you can have that done there. But again, your contact information is actually in the book, as Patrick is showing you right there. So, folks, again, if you'd like to get a copy of this, ask the person that brought you here. We actually might be able to get you an e-document of that, so you can read through that book if you'd like to as well.
Well, there you go, Eric. We did it.
There you go. All right, let's talk about the class. Yep, we've got training classes that are coming up, but folks, we want to let you know that your training is part of your due diligence. Patrick, talk about that here with the Money Back Guarantee.
Well, when I came up with this a few years back, my staff thought I was nuts because we let people come to our workshop here in Dallas, stay there at the hotel, come to all the classes, 8 to 5, 5 days, and all of a sudden, at the end of that week, if for any reason somebody doesn't think this is the right business for them, and that's up to them, of course, not up to us, we will give you all your money back, 100%. Right. Now, Eric, people ask a lot, they think, well, that must be something screwy about that. No, we've done it. We have done that a handful of times in the last 23 years. But folks, we know what we have. That's why we can offer this. Not many people take advantage of this, and if they do, then we say, we'll stay friends and you can go on your way. But that gives you the assurance that you could get all your money. Now, you are out the money that you spent to get to Dallas if you live outside this area, and, of course, for the hotel. The hotel will run you about, what is it, Eric, about $120 a night or something like that.
$125 a night, yeah.